Hey fam, welcome to Jack to Jeep. So today we're going to be working on the CJ7. Now we've already taken out all the aluminum in the back of the CJ7, and what we're going to be doing now is we have these caps that were back there that serve as a cover for my rear shocks. I'm going to actually be making it to where they're more accessible. That way if I need to get to them I can. Before they were actually just siliconed in. It was kind of a pain in the butt, so stay tuned. Jack to Jeep. Alright guys, so let's get over to the workbench and I'll kind of show you my thought process on this and what I'm going to be doing to make it to where these are actually more accessible and not siliconed and somewhat permanent. So check it out. Alright guys, so this is the back aluminum piece that I took out that's on the driver's side of the bed of the Jeep. And you can tell there's still silicone in here. I need to clean all this off and this around here. But basically, this would sit right there. It was siliconed on, and it was also siliconed to the bed of the Jeep. You can tell it just kind of sat over it, and it kind of just protected the rear shocks. But it made it to where you didn't have access to it unless you hammered it off, and I don't really like that. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So what we're going to do is let me flip this around. I'm actually going to. It's pretty simple. I'm going to put a little hinge in them right here. That way when it's in there, I can actually hinge it open and we'll have access to it. I'm also going to put a little connector on this other side so it doesn't pop back and forth, and I'm going to also seal it up. So let's get started. So you can tell, let me adjust this here. So you can tell he actually put little inserts in to where you could screw this down and screw it to the inner fender and everything. But who would know to do that, right? Alright, so I used my Sharpie and I marked the 3 holes. I'm going to go ahead and pop those holes in there and then screw it on. Try to see what it looks like before I permanently fasten it, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do, how I'm going to fasten it in a minute. Alright, part 2. Again, I'm not going to fasten these hinges yet. Show you what I'm going to do in a minute with these, but clean this one up, clean this other side up, and I'll put the holes in that as well for the hinge, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so basically what I'm doing is I'm using a rivet. I'm going to rivet these in, and then I'm going to go back through and I'm going to try to use the flux welds just around the sides just to tack it on a little bit better. But I don't want anything to be rattling loose or anything. I think the rivets may be the best way to go. Give it a nice clean look. Plus, after I'm done, I'm going to repaint these anyway, so it should all be sealed. I'm going to use a Flex Seal paint on these, and it'll cover it all real nice. So, basically what I'm doing. So as you can tell, it looks pretty clean on the outside here. It has a little bit of a lip on it, but I'll smooth those out. On the inside, doesn't look too bad either. Because of the thickness of this one compared to how these were. I actually had to go to the 3/16 thick length of rivets and a little bigger rivet puller. But it made it a lot easier. Alright, so as you can see now, they don't close quite all the way, but I am going to put some leather seal around it. And then I'm going to have a fastener on this other piece once it's done and cut. And it'll close. And then I can open it and I can actually access the brackets for my rear shocks. Alright fam, so the next thing we're doing is we're going to be going ahead and cutting this. I'm relocating the fuel intake on the back of the CJ. I'm moving it in. I'm going to use that way I can get a regular tailgate. And to do so I need to fabricate a new housing unit for the fuel intake. We're going to cut about 2 inches on each side. I already marked them. I need to punch this out for the fuel to go through. I'm also going to be cutting about a 1/2 inch on this section. That way I can bend it over and I have something to put the top on. I'm wearing a mask just because of I don't want to smell this when I'm cutting it. Anyway, back at it. Because I'm cutting it, I'm also putting on some gloves. That way if this slips, this aluminum is not going to slice my hand open as quickly. And a little more safe. Alright, so I have my cuts made. Now I'm going to go ahead and start bending this. I'm going to use my vise and just my workbench to try to mold this into the shape I need. I have a couple of these that I'm also going to use to help bend it. So, next step. Before I start bending this, I do need to pop this middle section out. It'll just make it easier for me. So I'm going to get my pilot hole going. There we go. Alright, so I got marks here on where I'm going to cut this now because I need this hole bigger. I'm going to actually square it off. That way I have more access for my fuel intake. Alright, so I have this cut out. I do have to grind it a little bit, smooth it out a little. But what it's going to do, once this is bent more into shape and I have the brackets put in, it'll basically sit around this and be riveted in. So you're not going to be able to see the lip, and it'll protect it to where it's not cutting any of my fuel lines. Alright, so basically what we're going to do next, we're going to cut these down. These are actually going to go under the fuel cell to raise it up a little bit. That way the gas will actually flow to the rear of the Jeep and it's sitting level. I already pre-marked them. But I do want to bring the fuel cell over just to see if these holes, what I'm thinking, will line up. I definitely don't want to wear my glasses doing this because it'll pit my glasses, so I'm going to put some safety glasses on. Alright, so basically we got our little tower for our fuel intake on the Jeep. Sorry I wasn't recording when I was cutting and bending this. Now I got rid of any of the sharp corners on this, grinded them off. I am going to actually put some rivets in here to hold it. I'm going to, it's pretty even, but I am going to level it out a little bit, even it out, grind it. And I'm going to flux seal this to where it's all solid. Just like so. Alright, back to bending. Now I'm not using any grinders right now, so I'm not worried about the breathing in. No, I wasn't a blacksmith. I'm just figuring it out here. Now I am going to grind all these corners off also, but this is basically going to be sitting flush on the bottom there. Like I said, it is pretty wavy. But once I'm all done, it'll be straightened up, no sharp corners, and it'll be nice and flat. A little bit of a process. All right, cool. Like I said, I do have to clean up these sharp edges. I'll round those off. I'm also going to end up bracing this. I have some extra aluminum here, and I'll figure out how to frame it out. It's going to be pretty sturdy as it is. And I know it doesn't look pretty, but it's going to work great for what I need to use it for. So, over to the Jeep. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put rivets in here. After I round these corners off, of course. I'll probably put 3 on this side, 3 on this side, 2 in the front. I'm gonna put some trim, some little plastic around this, and the only reason is I don't want it, I'm not expecting it to ever hit it, but I don't want it to rub against it. I don't mind that little gap in there. I'll probably close it a little more because I have this and out of the way. Yeah, I'll close it up a little bit more so it's pushed further back like so. So after I get the cap that goes in here to fasten this to and trim it all down, I'm going to get a fuel filter and an on and off switch that I can operate. Now I don't know exactly where I'm going to put that on and off switch. I may pop a hole here on the side and do that. I'm not positive yet, but I do need an on and off switch for my fuel cell to run it into my fuel tank. But there it is. It's going to clean up. Like I said, once I flex rod this, rivet these in, get it all painted. I am not going to paint this, but I will end up painting the brackets that the fuel cell is sitting on. I am going to put a couple other brackets just underneath it to where there's more support for the middle of the fuel cell. But what this is doing is it's allowing me to open it up. I know there's not a lot of room in here, but it's going to give me that opportunity. Actually, I'll put this forward. It's going to give me an opportunity to use a little bit of this area without reaching over all the time. You have a little toolbox, a cooler, or something else in here. Anyway, hope you guys are liking this. If you want to see the finished product, stay tuned. It'll be on another video. In the meantime, click subscribe, hit that bell, that way you can be notified of any new content. Check this video out right up here. You may just like it. In the meantime, leave it better than you found it. My name's Steve. I'm out. Bye.
You can call me stupid.